Hi there, my name is Rope Myers. I'm from Van, Texas. I work at Sky Ranch, a Christian camp for kids. More than that though, I am a son of the Most High God. And as His son, I am blessed to be married to an amazing woman named Candace Myers. And we have 4 amazing kids and one that we've adopted. So 5 kids in the house. I have a really cool opportunity to do the things that I do that are connected with rodeo and with horses and with outside things that give me an opportunity to tell people about just the character and nature of Christ in a setting that is conducive to being able to demonstrate His love and His grace and His mercy to people wherever they are and whatever they're doing. I was a professional steer wrestler for a lot of years, and as part of that, I do steer wrestling clinics, and we try to put on the most excellent clinic we can with doing incredible results that we get out of those guys. But we use that really as a place to build a credibility with them. So when we begin to tell them about who the Father is, they're ready to hear it. They're ready to act upon it. And I find those kind of men that come there not expecting that it's going to be some sort of a Christian thing, they receive it and they start to get a hold of those kind of principles and begin to walk in the beginnings of their identity as a son of the Most High God themselves. And so that's kind of who I am and hopefully what I get to do on a regular basis. Manhood in America has taken a beating. Recently. Everything from what's happening in the media to what's happening in politics to what's happening throughout the world. Manhood in America has become either a joke, a byword, a curse word, or something that is broken. And it is broken, but it's not broken in the way most people think that it is. Men in America are just asleep. More than anything else, they're just asleep. If they could wake up and realize that the kingdom is at hand, that the kingdom is not for some future day and place, it's not for the great by and by to go to, but Jesus said, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth." And so if the men on this earth would wake up, they'd realize that life is right there for the taking. If you don't mind, I'll tell a real quick story. If you've ever watched the old Robin Hood, or not the old Robin Hood, the old Three Musketeers movie, at the beginning of that movie, the Musketeers are all doing their own thing. One is caught up in religion, and he's doing that. One's a drunk. The other one is set about politics. And this young guy comes into town who wants to be a musketeer, because what the Musketeers did is they protected the interests of the king. And the other musketeer comes in, ends up in a fight with all 3 of them. And they're all fighting amongst themselves. The only thing that stops that fight from happening and reconnects those guys is they realize all of a sudden that the king's in jeopardy. And when they wake up to that, they all rise up and become who it is they really were called to be. So just like that old movie, men in America, if they would wake up and get out of their religion, get out of their sedation, get out of their politics and those kind of things, and wake up and realize that the king is in jeopardy and they stepped into being who they were called to be. If they were energized to that, all of a sudden I think men would wake up and become the protectors of the king, the 3 musketeers that they were called to be. Fellowship. Man, what a word we've lost. The word itself has become this kind of weak thing where we just get around and just talk about football and stuff, where fellowship is like, the fellowship of is supposed to be the thing of brothers standing shoulder to shoulder, meeting at a common cause and a common purpose with a common history and a common dad. We can rise into that if we just have the opportunity to open the doors to it. So many times men aren't in that because we think that if we get together, we have to do it in a I hate to say it, but a real feminine way. We're gonna get together and talk across the table. We call that fellowship, where that's just not how men typically typically interact well together. We usually do pretty well shoulder to shoulder if you put us to something, put us in a common purpose. We typically we shine in fellowship. I was fortunate enough in what I did for a living as a steer wrestler. I traveled all over the country with 2 or 3 guys in the truck and going and competing regularly against each other, but also having each other's back and knowing each other in a really real way. And all of a sudden fellowship just pours out of that naturally when men are given that opportunity. So I think most men in America have, not most men, but a lot of men in America have a moment that they can remember back where maybe they were on a football team or maybe they were in the military for a period of time where they knew men intimately in that way. And they still hold on to those relationships. Well, those relationships can be had right now if we would just open ourselves up to it. That right now we can be connected with men in that kind of open, real, sincere way. So what did I do? More than anything else, I try. I hate to even use the word try because I think it's a little bit like a Yoda-ish. You either do or you do not. I walk daily trying to live with my Father and let Him be real in me, know Him more intimately today than I did yesterday, for everything that pertains to life and godliness is found in knowing Him. Not in having known Him, but in knowing Him today. So if I can know Him again today, if I can look to see Him today, if I'll do that around the people that I'm around on a regular basis, it'll make a difference. We started doing the steer wrestling clinics that I do, and we do rodeo camps in the summer. And we do all kinds of stuff like that where I bring men, young men, boys in, and we do everything we can to put what they came there for, which is to learn their rodeo event. We do try to do that with excellence and with integrity and with honor, and we do it with hard work and effort and all those kind of things. And in so doing, we usually get an opportunity that is kind of rare, and that is to be able to just really plainly and simply tell them how much God loves them, how much purpose and life and power there really is for them. I have a really good friend of mine, Todd Pierce, who does a deal with a horse in a round pen that's pretty dynamic. And one of the things he says in that is that, we got this horse can just go about his life just eating, drinking, breeding, hanging out, and just live in that pen his whole life. Or he can relinquish control to that man that steps into the pen, and in so doing release his own purpose. It's the same thing with us and the Father. We just want to be kind of left alone. Men most of the time just want to be left alone. But if we connect them to the idea of that, hey, there's a Father that's going to connect with you, and if you will relinquish a little bit of control, relinquish a little bit of your own sense of how much you've got to hold tight to that fig leaf that you've been hiding behind, and you let that down and you become a little bit bare, you get a little naked in front of God and say, hey God, this is who I am. Then what happens is He can come in and begin to reveal in you the man that you really were called to be. And so I guess if there's anything, I've kind of rambled on in this one, but I will say this, that if we can open up the opportunity for God to be able to speak to men behind all the shields, all the things they've been hiding behind, then I think He will have the access He needs to be able to bring about the life in them that He wants to take place. Isolation is the curse of manhood, right? I mean, we get to thinking that we're all in this deal on our own. Here's what I would have to tell you: you're not alone, and you're not that unusual, or you're not that your problems are not that odd, or the thing you're stuck in is not that unusual. Most men are right in that same place. Take it from a man who has talked to a lot of guys out there and have been able to walk through it with a lot of guys out there. They're so common. The things you're struggling with are not just yours. They're very common, and there's a lot of men out here that when you get real with them, they will get real with you, and they'll find out that the thing that you're worried the most about, there's a man right there ready to walk through that with you to become who you really were called to be. And I would just end with this: hey, he'll never leave you or forsake you. He is with you even, and it doesn't matter where you've gone, where you're going to, what you're going through. He is right there, just like the father of the prodigal son. He is ready right there to take you back, whatever you're in. If you're a Christian and you're outside the party and you say you can't go in, He'll even come outside of the party to come hang out with you, try to talk you back into the party. So I promise you, you're not as alone as you think you are. And there's men out here, and this is a group of men right here that will bring you inside and have true fellowship with you.